Zuri and Jabari Jackson stepped through the entrance of Westridge High with watchful eyes. The 17-year-old twins moved with subtle grace, their matching blue backpacks slung over broad shoulders. New town, new school, same old stairs. Zuri's braided hair framed a face that mirrored her brother's determined expression. They'd learned long ago to read a room quickly. 6 hours, then freedom, Jabari whispered, bumping his sister's shoulder gently. What their classmates couldn't see was the decade of intensive training under Grandmaster Wong, who'd molded their bodies into weapons of precision and control. Their grandfather had insisted on the training after what happened in their old neighborhood. "Remember," Zuri murmured, "we're here to learn, not to fight." But both knew some lessons couldn't be found in textbooks. Tyler Reed leaned against the lockers, his Letterman jacket a beacon of privilege, flanked by 4 teammates who laughed too loudly at his jokes. Well. Look who's trying to blend in," he sneered as Zuri walked past. The hallway seemed to narrow, conversations dropping to whispers. "Got something to say?" Jabari stepped forward, placing himself between Tyler and his sister. Tyler smirked. "Just wondering why they let you two into advanced placement classes." "Filling quotas, I guess." Mrs. Patel, the chemistry teacher, rounded the corner. "Everyone to class, now." Later, in the cafeteria, Zuri reached for the last chocolate pudding, her fingers colliding with Tyler's. "Sorry," she said automatically. "Keep your hands off what's not yours," Tyler snapped, snatching it away. "You people always taking things you don't deserve." The twins exchanged glances as Tyler's group roared with laughter. Principal Santos had promised diversity and inclusion during orientation. The reality was proving different: whispered slurs, accidental shoves, and now this blatant hostility. 3 months, Jabari reminded his sister. "Dad promised we could go back if it doesn't work out." Mr. Washington paired students for the history project on civil rights leaders. Zuri with Tyler. Jabari with Emma, he announced, ignoring Zuri's visible discomfort. "Let's meet at the library after school," Zuri suggested to Tyler, who nodded with surprising agreeability. 3 hours later, their research boards nearly complete, Zuri stepped away to find additional reference material. When she returned, Tyler was gone, and so was their project's flash drive containing their presentation. "Looking for this?" Emma whispered, sliding a small device across the table. Tyler dropped it in the trash. "I saved it, but..." She grimaced, clicking through corrupted files. "He deleted everything." The twins stayed until closing, rebuilding the presentation from scratch. When they submitted it the next day, Mr. Washington frowned. "This isn't what Tyler described to me earlier." "What did he tell you?" Jabari asked. "That your sister refused to contribute and tried to take credit for his work." Zuri's hands balled into fists beneath the desk as Tyler smirked from across the room. The school newspaper assignment led Jabari to the town archives. Digging through old issues, a headline caught his eye: "Reed Development accused of housing discrimination." "Zuri, look at this," he whispered, pointing to a photo of Tyler's father shaking hands with the mayor after charges were mysteriously dropped. Zuri scrolled through her phone. 3 separate lawsuits against Reed Properties in 5 years. All settled quietly. An elderly librarian noticed their interest. "Researching the Reeds?" she asked, voice barely audible. "My son applied for an apartment there last year. Perfect credit, good job. Application denied. White couple with worse credentials. Approved next day." That evening, they discovered their father's construction company had bid on the new community center project. "Dad, did you know who you're competing against?" Zuri asked. Their father's expression darkened. "Reed underbids by using substandard materials. Nobody says anything because he's got half the town council in his pocket." "And the other half?" Jabari asked. Too afraid to speak up. The Saturday afternoon sun beat down on the community basketball court as Zuri sank another 3-pointer. A group of local teens cheered from the sidelines while Jabari waited for his turn, spinning a ball on his finger. "Courts reserved," Tyler's voice cut through the celebration. He stood at the entrance, 5 teammates flanking him like bodyguards. Public court isn't something you can reserve, Jabari replied, continuing to spin the ball. Tyler stepped closer. My father paid for this court's renovation. So yeah, it is reserved, for people who belong here. The crowd grew quiet as Tyler snatched the ball mid-spin. Time for you to go back where you came from. We're from Detroit, Zuri said evenly. Want our address? Tyler's face reddened. He shoved Jabari hard, sending him stumbling. Think you're funny? Jabari regained his balance but didn't retaliate. What? Too scared? Tyler taunted, shoving him again. His friends surrounded the twins, cutting off escape routes. One grabbed Zuri's wrist. Maybe she needs to learn some manners too. It happened in a blur. Zuri twisted free, executing a perfect wristlock that brought her attacker to his knees. Simultaneously, Jabari sidestepped another lunge, causing two of Tyler's friends to collide. Stop now, Jabari warned, his stance shifting subtly. Tyler charged, swinging wildly. The twins moved in practiced synchronization, blocking, redirecting, but never initiating attacks. Fight back! Tyler screamed, increasingly desperate as his friends backed away. We are, Zuri replied calmly. Just not how you think. Someone in the crowd had started recording. Zuri noticed the phone and positioned herself carefully, making sure Tyler's threats were clearly captured. You think you can come to our town and take over? Tyler shouted, his rage unchecked. My father will make sure your family never works in this county again. Jabari deflected another wild punch, using Tyler's momentum to send him stumbling forward without ever striking back. Keep talking, he encouraged. It's all being documented. Tyler lunged again. This time, Zuri simply stepped aside, allowing him to crash into the fence. His friends had already retreated, unwilling to be part of the spectacle he was creating. Your father's corrupt dealings won't stay hidden forever, Zuri called out clearly, projecting her voice for the recording. The housing discrimination, the bribery, the contract fixing. Tyler's face contorted with panic. You don't know anything. We know enough, Jabari replied calmly. And now we have proof of how the Reeds really operate. The video spread across social media overnight. By Monday, 3 more families had come forward with evidence of the Reeds' discriminatory practices. State investigators arrived within days, combing through Reed Development's records. Tyler returned to school subdued, avoiding the twins entirely. Principal Santos called Zuri and Jabari to her office, not for punishment but to apologize. You showed remarkable restraint, she acknowledged. That speaks volumes. 1 month later, the town council awarded the community center contract to Jackson Construction. Their father smiled at dinner that night. Sometimes justice needs a little push, he said, raising his glass. To standing your ground without stooping to their level. Zuri and Jabari exchanged glances. For the first time since moving, home actually felt like home.